Most of us spend our lives waiting for one massive breakthrough. We want the single event that rewrites our story overnight. But real transformation rarely announces itself. It happens quietly, in microscopic increments that are entirely invisible in the moment. Look closely at the natural world, and you see that it never rushes. A sprawling ancient forest starts with a handful of seeds. The tallest mountain ranges are pushed upward millimeter by millimeter. This same principle governs human behavior. Every choice you make, every tiny action you repeat, is a small vote for the person you are becoming. Over time, those individual votes scale up to decide your ultimate trajectory. Thousands of ordinary moments, repeated without fanfare, construct the foundation of lasting change. For nearly 100 years, British cycling was an afterthought on the world stage. Before 2003, they had exactly one Olympic gold medal to their name, and professional cycling manufacturers actively avoided selling them equipment, fearing it would damage their brand. To fix this historic run of mediocrity, the organization hired a new performance director named Dave Brailsford. Brailsford ignored grand sweeping overhauls. Instead, he introduced a concept he called the aggregation of marginal gains. The directive was strict but simple. Isolate every single component of riding a bicycle and improve it by exactly 1%. The team obsessed over the microscopic. They redesigned the bike seats for better grip, constantly adjusted gears and tire pressure, and tested different massage gels for optimal muscle recovery. They even hired a surgeon to teach riders the best way to wash their hands to prevent catching a cold, and mapped out the precise mattress and pillow that gave each athlete the best sleep. The compound effect of these tiny adjustments was rapid. Within 5 years, British riders began winning the Tour de France, taking over the sport's most grueling race. They took that momentum directly into the Olympics, eventually capturing 60% of the available gold medals in track cycling at the London Games. To the outside world, this dominance looked like a sudden miracle. In reality, it was the calculated result of hundreds of 1% improvements. If you try this yourself, you'll quickly run into a psychological trap. Getting 1% better today feels completely insignificant. You don't see results on day 1, or day 10, or even day 30. This chart shows the exact trajectory of a 1% daily improvement over time. It demonstrates the law of compounding. Just like money in a bank account, your daily habits don't add up, they multiply. The beginning of the timeline is entirely flat, but eventually the accumulation triggers an exponential upward spike. And this mathematical rule applies in both directions. While good habits like reading or exercising compound into positive exponential growth, bad habits like poor eating or daily procrastination compound just as efficiently downward. The friction comes from our own minds. We expect our progress to follow a straight, linear trajectory. We put in 30 days of effort and we expect a proportional, visible reward right away. This exact gap between our linear expectations and the flat reality of the compounding curve is the valley of disappointment. It is a deeply frustrating period where you put in intense, consistent effort and get zero visible results in return. Most people look at that flat line, conclude that their strategy isn't working, and quit entirely. They mistake a natural, delayed progression for permanent failure, abandoning their habits right before the curve begins to spike. Imagine an ice cube sitting in a freezing room at 25 degrees. You slowly heat the room, 26, 27, 28 degrees. You've put in the energy, but the ice remains entirely solid. It hits 31 degrees. Nothing. Then at 32 degrees, the ice suddenly begins to melt. That single degree didn't cause the transformation on its own. The melting is the release of all invisible energy stored from the previous temperature shifts. You see the same dynamic in a bamboo plant. You can water a bamboo seed every single day for 5 years and see absolutely zero growth above the soil. But beneath the surface, the plant is quietly constructing a massive, complex root system. Once the foundation is complete, it shoots 90 feet into the air in just 6 weeks. The time spent in the valley of disappointment is not wasted effort. The invisible work of those early habits is actively building the exact foundation you will eventually need to sustain explosive growth.
Society constantly tells us that to achieve anything significant, we need to set massive, ambitious goals. We are taught to fixate entirely on the finish line. But a goal only dictates your destination. It does absolutely nothing to help you travel. Your systems, the daily routines and practical stepping stones you execute every morning, are the actual mechanics of progress. Consider these Olympic gold medals. Every athlete at the Seoul Games shared the exact same goal of taking one home, but the goal itself provides no competitive advantage. If both the winner and the loser share the exact same ambition, the goal cannot be what separates them.
The only true differentiator is the system, the relentless execution of mundane daily training routines over thousands of hours. Staring constantly at a distant mountain peak only creates overwhelming pressure. The distance from where you are to where you want to be feels impossible, but shifting your focus entirely to securing your next physical footstep makes the climb manageable. To survive the long latency phase where results are invisible, you have to let go of the finish line. You have to stop checking the scoreboard and commit entirely to executing the system you've designed for today. Habits function as the internal evidence of your identity. Each repetition serves as a physical case for the person you believe yourself to be. Every time you sit down to read a chapter, you are providing proof to yourself that you are a reader. Every morning you write a single page, you prove that you are a creator. When these tiny actions accumulate enough proof to rewrite your self-perception, new behaviors stop feeling like a choice. They become a reflection of your character rather than an act of willpower. You do not rise to the level of your ambitious goals. You inevitably fall to the level of your daily systems. Stop trying to overhaul your entire life by tomorrow morning. Pick one microscopic habit today. Set up the system to execute it consistently, and let the quiet mathematics of compounding build your future.